for people who are like not taking action, for instance, like, oh, I need to build up money, or I need to, be free from my day job to start. And it's just like, you don't need any of that. Cody and I didn't. What is your take on passive income?
I have strong feelings about this. You really want me to start with it? Do you want to start? Because I'm ready.
All right, I'll start. I'll give it a backstory of why I'm asking this question. Mm-hmm. Okay, so a lot of these digital marketing and agency owner groups I'm in, the hot topic is passive income. And every time I see the word, I absolutely loathe it, because what people mean by passive income is a way to earn income that essentially pays bills so you can go live like a life of luxury. It's almost like you read like the 4-hour work week and you're just like, yeah, I can make, $2,000 a month and just go travel to Thailand, and do nothing. And
so these are nomads, right? They're like nomad group people that's where it's coming from. Because that's the 4-hour work week. That's that crowd, right?
I mean, partially, yes. It's been in the nomad group for a little bit, but it's also like in just like the regular agency setting group too, because the agency setting group does like, their idea of like passive income is like being a setter or a closer, and then also an affiliate of someone else's marketing or coaching program or something like that. And then, it's basically like an MLM, but for digital marketing, because it's just like close people, and then you get like a commission on top of this like reoccurring service.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've started some waves in some of these groups lately, because someone would comment like, what's some passive income channels that you guys have? And I'm just like, 0, because passive income isn't real.
And they were like, let me put my gloves on.
Yeah. And then immediately from there, they start talking about like, they started talking about real estate and crypto. And I'm like, oh my God. Tell me you don't actually have a passive income stream without telling me you don't actually have a passive income stream. Start out by talking about real estate and crypto.
Cringe. Very cringe.
But okay, that's the backstory. Now, give me your hot takes.
Okay, before I say, because I want to really hit people with this, but before I want to say, I think one example, if you ask me, you're like, Cody, give me an example of passive income. Here's one. You patent something and you make a product. A bigger company comes in and says, hey, I like that. I want to make it. I want to buy it and pay you royalties for the rest of your life. You sell your company, you keep the patent, or they buy it with an agreement. I don't know how it actually works.
Yeah. So this is like,
you get the mailbox money, right?
Yeah.
So that's truly passive. Congrats. You did it. You now get the mailbox money.
This is Mariah Carey on Christmas, passive income money.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a thing, I guess. Congrats if you do that. That's cool. But somebody told me this a long time ago, and I love it. And I think about it a lot. And I like to tell people, these are my feelings. There is no such thing as passive income, only neglected businesses.
Yeah, I love that too. I've been using that lately now, and I've been coining it as my own quote. Because okay, to be fair, I asked you who it was from, and you're like, I don't remember. I'm like, great. It's what we call in the marketing world. Yeah, it's a public domain. So,
I believe that though. Truly, I think that if you want to coast for a while after you build something and just ride whatever money you get from it, because there's more opportunity with it, or you're just happy. Yeah, I mean, if you work harder, you get more. If you're happy with where it's at, because that was the ultimate goal, is to live a life and not worry about the business portion. But I think 9 times out of 10, when people talk about their passive income streams, they are neglecting their business. They're slumlords, right? That's one. They have something that's slowly dwindling, like a site that's ranking that they're not continuing to contribute to. They have a converting campaign on autopilot, supposedly, until it's not. There's all different ways, but they will, generally speaking, eventually die, or it's just disappointing. That's maybe too opinionated, but I feel that way. I think when people say that, depending on where they're at or what they're doing, maybe they're patent trolls, right? That's another group. Ugh, I don't like you. I don't respect you.
Oh,
I don't.
Yeah. Well, so I like the first thing that people kind of come back at me with is, yeah, I have, like real estate, for instance. Like anybody who owns real estate or is in like a broker or an agent or like, whatever, they will tell you that it is not passive income. Even if you own rental properties, they're like, yeah, well, we have a property management company that handles it. Okay. But you still have to write the checks. Like you still have to manage the relationship with the property manager. Like you still have to deal with tenants. You still have to deal with, just the legalities of it all. And it just isn't. And at a certain point, it can be. I mean, if you've got like a multi-million-dollar portfolio, to an extent, and it could be passive for a while, but eventually everything will crumble if you don't put some time into it. And the other part was like, anytime someone mentions crypto regarding passive, I'm just like, you're an idiot. Like shut up. Like,
yeah, this isn't the right crowd.
Yeah, trust me. I know plenty about crypto. I also know about losing $6,000 in crypto in 30 days. So
yeah, I didn't see any crypto ads the Super Bowl this year. Didn't see a single one.
Yeah, I didn't either, and I'm happy. My buddy Matt was like, because I pulled all my money out of crypto in February of this year after I lost all that money, and last year, and he was like, "So you gonna get back into crypto?" And I'm like, "Probably not." And he goes, "What?" He's like, "Bitcoin's on the rise," and it like rose like 10%, but now it's back down. And I'm like, no, like especially with Bitcoin, like I just don't see a sustainable future for Bitcoin because there's no other use for it other than a currency. Whereas like something like Ethereum or something built on the Ethereum network, like, yes, that possibly, but right now, I'm fine with building my wealth with real money.
Yeah. Look, if you're listening and you really want us to talk about crypto, send us a message, head up the website and say, hey, seriously, I want your opinion. Otherwise, I'm not going to get into it. I just don't. But
that's fair.
Anyway.
Yeah, so I get on the whole.
Okay, speaking of feedback, Jake, we have to do this. This is important.
Yes, we have.
Hey, you listener, leave us a review.
Yes.
Seriously, we're getting mad. Nobody's doing it.
I know. Do you even like us?
Yeah. I know. I wrote this down. I wrote down notes of what to say to people, to you, the person listening. And one of them is, you think, oh, it's fine because somebody else listening will do this. No, I'm talking specifically to you. This is like when you visit Wikipedia every year when they're like, oh, we need money because we're nonprofit or whatever. And then nobody gives them money. Give them money. Give us a review. I'm talking to you in particular.
Yeah. We have,
stop.
There's no ads. There's no sponsorships. There's no upsells on this podcast. And we're talking to you, Michael, Jeffrey, Randy, Greg,
Sarah,
Rich, Anne Marie, all of you. I hope I just blew someone's mind.
Yeah. Trying to think of what are generic girl names? Brittany.
Jennifer.
Jennifer. I should know that.
You think Jennifer's a hot?
There's a Jennifer that I like. Yeah, that's true. Although she's not a Jennifer, she's a Jenny. And then when she's a Jen, that's scary. I'm scared of Jen. Mm-hmm. So that's the alter ego. Anyway, yeah, seriously, leave us a review. And because I want to talk about this.
All right, go on.
Our email list is growing. Our reviews are not. What is up? Are you guys ashamed? You're like, hey, I want to listen to their stuff, but I don't want to give any feedback. Stop it. And I don't care how you leave the review, like what your name is. Make a fake. Okay, we can't say that. Make a fake account. I don't know how that works. I'm not an Apple guy, so I don't know how it works.
Display name? I don't know. I'm not an Apple guy either.
Yeah, be, I love pancakes 37 and then leave the review under that username or something. I don't care. Just give some feedback, because we see the email list grow, but not the reviews. I'm like, what's going on? Are you ashamed? Do you not want to talk about it? Is this a secret thing? We're not secret here. We're telling you literally everything. If you have questions, we'll tell you.
I think they're ashamed.
Rant over, leave
a
review.
I would be.
I'm upset.
You know what else is shameful? People think they need money to start an agency.
Oh, okay. That's the topic today, is it?
Yes. So every time, it kind of rolls into the whole passive income thing, because I posted a really divisive post in one of those digital marketing agency groups, and it was what was it? Why is everybody in this group setting and closing for other agencies instead of just setting and closing for your own agency? And it got mixed reactions. I mean, there were some people who were like, yeah, like it, doesn't make sense. But then there were other people who were like, well, maybe because they just like the sales aspect of it. Then I'm like, then work in sales. But I don't think they're really fooling anybody by setting and closing, because ultimately what they're trying to do is earn that passive income stream of, like, send out 1 million cold emails, get 100 people to sign up, and then, earn that affiliate link or that affiliate revenue until, eventually those 100 people die off. But the problem is, I don't believe that there's a singles, well, that's not true. I don't believe that there are almost any successful affiliate setters and closers out there. I think there's about as many successful setters and closers as there are successful Amway sellers.
I don't know enough about it anymore. I did affiliate SEO for a long time, and so beyond that, I just started getting into paid affiliate stuff too. But at that time, a lot of people were switching over to e-commerce, drop shipping, crypto, and I think that's where most of them are at this point too, with the change in the industry in general. But I don't know. Are those the same people? Is that the same mental crowd as need money to start an agency? Is that what it is?
No, it is. It is. And it's funny because so this post, it actually got someone to comment on it, and it got someone who messaged me actually about it too. And they said, hey, I've never actually thought about it like that. I've always figured I would do this to build money for, to start to fund my own agency. And I'm like, what money do you need to build an agency? We covered this in episode 1. You literally need nothing. You need a computer. And even that, you don't even necessarily need a computer. You need a phone. You need something to execute. But
you remember my crappy computer? We made it to
you did Chromebook.
Yeah. It was wild. It's
like 100, like a Chromebook's like $150. It's less than a phone. It's a tenth the price of a phone.
Yeah. I have pictures of my workspace over time, and now it's finally gotten to a respectable thing where people look at it and they're like, "Wow, that's cool." But for a long time, it was not cool.
Your keyboard is 3 times the price of your computer was back then.
Yeah, back when we started. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but so I was just kind of like, what do you need funds to start an agency for? And some of them were like, oh, I need to purchase software, or I need money to build a reservoir. So this is the only actual good argument that I've seen, was I need to build money for a reservoir to then leave my job and then pursue this full time. But here's the thing. So this is why and the excuse was, I don't have free time after my full-time job. And my thought process, my argument to that is, if you don't have free time to free up a couple hours after a job or after your work, you don't have time to run an agency, because you're going to be putting in way more hours than you're currently working your day job trying to get an agency off the ground than you are just putting in a few hours after your day job. So if you're not committed enough to do the extra work after work or before work or on the weekend, you're not committed enough to see this through to whatever goal it is you have.
Yeah, nobody says that to me because they know what would happen if they did, and I'd say get out. Seriously,
you just point just out.
Leave right now. I don't want to hear it. Because I remember earlier on having those talks where people would say, you know, oh, it's so cool. I can't believe you go home and work after your day job. I wish I could do that. And I'm like, okay, what? You can. Nobody's saying you can't. You just don't want to, which is fine. I'm not saying that's bad that you don't want to, but do you think I want to? That's what I always come back with. Like, do you think I am at my job and every day I get done, I think, man, I cannot wait to get home and work more. I cannot wait until 5 years from now when my wrists are so wrecked that I have to go to therapy because I worked too much like a nerd at my computer.
Well, to be fair, no one's going to be like that. Only you're like that.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I mean, at some points of it, it's fun. Like it's fun to go out and, you know, go do your own thing, but eventually it's going to get tiring and dull. And, you know, you might not see results for a year and a half, 2 years. And, you know, finally things will start clicking. But when they do start clicking, that's when you're putting in 70, 80 hours a week.
Yeah. Yeah. Across things, across everything in life. Yeah.
So I'm reading the 4-Hour Workweek right now, and I'm not reading it because I give a shit about it. Like I'm reading it because that's what everybody else apparently reads. And so like I'm trying to understand like from the mental mindset of why people think that they need, one, passive income right away, and two, don't need to build a foundation. But so far through it, I'm like, this guy built his life because he built up a sports nutrition company and made, quote, $50,000 a month, which is $500,000 a year. He didn't do that by putting in a couple hours a week. Like he even says like I did that for like 5 years of putting in like 70 hours a week and working myself to death.
Yeah, that's a terrible book that nobody wants to read though. You just said that. Hey, go work 5 years, 80 hours a week. It'll be great.
Someone's probably listening. We're like, I finished the whole book and you missed the whole point of that. And I'm like, well, I'm not impressed by it right now.
Well, that is the point. That's the point, is that the guy who wrote the book didn't do that from the start. That you can maybe eventually get to that point. I'm not saying you can't. You can if you want to design things that way, but you're not going to get there with that little effort. Is my general feels.
How much money?
I feel like I'm not being helpful, but I'm just being angry today. I don't know why. I feel spicy.
I think
I want to be helpful somehow. What do I got to do?
I don't know, but I feel like this is, maybe it's just more of kind of like a wake up call for people who are like not taking action. For instance, like, oh, I need to build up money, or I need to, you know, be free from my day job to start. And it's just like, you don't need any of that. Cody and I didn't. We worked full time. I mean, one of our early episodes, like in like the first 15, was it's okay to grow slow, which is what we did. And we didn't need any money. We had I started on a work computer for my full-time job, my work laptop. And so like, I wasn't even supposed to be doing that, but I did. Cody had a $150 Chromebook.
Yeah.
So if everything you do is cloud-based, you don't need software.
Mm-hmm. I went for the Chromebook to something that was effectively a Chromebook. It was like a Lenovo, like 11-inch thing. I loved it, but it was tiny. It was not a good time. But yeah, I don't know. If we're just talking in general about people who think that they need money to start an agency, and the fallacies that they tell themselves. It's survivorship bias what people say about this, because if they're the kind of person who needed to make the jump and then to half drown in the pool while making the business work, they're going to believe that, and they're going to say that's what you need to do and that's what everybody should do. the people who build gradually while at their day job, working, 7 to 11, 7 to 2, whatever it is, right? I mean, however you do it. One, it's not sexy. It's not fun to tell people do that, especially if you have a wife, kids, a dog, a house, whatever it is, responsibilities. Because there's other talks that are going to have to go into that. You can't just disappear to your other life responsibilities. But yeah, you're going to have to make compromises and have hard talks and discussions to say, hey, this is important to me and I want to go towards pursuing this for our future in general. Yeah, those people don't talk as much. I think they're more common, way more common than people think or give credit for. They're just not as loud because it's not as fun of a story. But those people, they would say, I don't know. You're asking me, so I would say, yeah. I mean, if you are the kind of person, I guess, who needs to jump and do it, then you know yourself better than anybody else. And in that case, do what you have to do. But don't kid yourself and don't make yourself think that you're going to do things that you have no reason to believe you're going to do because you aren't even doing them right now. That's the big issue that I have, is people who say, I'm going to go do this, and you're not doing it right now. So what makes you believe that you're going to do it when you stop doing what you're doing right now? It's much easier to build the habit and transition instead of make yourself think that you're going to go do something that you aren't.
I think if you've listened to like the first 15 episodes and then you're also listening to this episode, you need to like seriously stop listening to this podcast.
Hey, I said that. Yeah, hey, I said that. And you got mad at me.
No, I didn't get mad at you. I just said, the only reason why we're doing this is because people listen and we like to. It's fun. But what I'm saying is, if you listen to the first 15 episodes and you're listening to this one now and you still haven't started, stop listening to this. Like, seriously, I don't want you to listen to this podcast because you're wasting your time. If you've already taken action and like you're driving or you can listen to this while you're working, like that's totally cool. Like, great, you're taking action. I'm proud of you. That's the whole point of this. But if you're just sitting there like trying to amp yourself up, like I guess this is the pep talk you need. Like, seriously, do something. And if you are doing work, then I don't know, keep listening because you enjoy hearing us.
So that's one perspective, right? Is the I have to live and I need the money to live. So I need money to start because of that. But then the other one is I need the tools that an agency needs. And okay, first,
you don't need go high level CRM. You don't. Every agency owner is like, you need to get go high level because there's like a huge affiliate thing with it. And like,
I don't know what that is.
So go high level is a CRM. It's like $250.
Oh, okay.
And, cool. It's not, it's not expensive, by means of like an actual functional CRM. But you don't need it. There are free options like HubSpot. We used HubSpot for 3 years before we jumped over to the paid version of it with all the other plugins. And yeah, maybe we might save money with Go High Level because we pay like $500 a month for HubSpot. But there's other things that HubSpot does and the integrations that it has with a lot of the tools that we have with our scale that makes sense for us. But
they don't even matter when you're starting.
Yeah. Just because all of your agency friends that are in a big circle jerk are purchasing Go High Level and like setting up all these Go High Level funnel crap, like doesn't necessarily mean you need it for your agency.
You don't. Well, one, you literally need nothing. You don't have to have anything. You can start with a Gmail account that you use to communicate with people and just cash checks or Venmo. I mean, you can be creative however you want to make it work. Mm-hmm. But even to be minimally established, back when we restructured the business more effectively at zero, our monthly expenses to quote cover the cost of operating the business was, what was it, under $50 a month?
Yeah, we just had hosting, we had our emails, and then we had our domain, and that was literally it.
I think that's all you need. I mean, assuming that you have the home set up.
You don't
You have
the and you don't even need
hardware.
you don't even need like the host. You technically you don't even need the hosting. Like if you want to operate from your Facebook page and like let's just say you do social media advertising, and you don't need a website to start. Great, you don't even need the hosting. You don't even need the emails because you can just get a free Gmail.
You're getting your stuff from Upwork, something like that. Upwork's still a thing, right? People do that.
Yeah,
I say that.
I know. I think generally though, like people, the general consensus with it is that it's oversaturated for freelancers, which is true.
Oh.
So it's like Fiverr. But
I'm saying, I just want to make sure I'm not like a dinosaur when I'm saying these things. Like when you listen to a podcast and someone says something like, back when a banana was 5 cents. I just don't want to be that guy because I don't pay attention.
My brother's friend, who we grew up with, my brother's 8 years older than me. He posted an arcade game, like a police trainer arcade game that was up for sale on eBay, and he tagged his buddy in it, who's like a couple of years older than him. And
it was like a cabinet.
Yeah. Yep. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's probably like 39, maybe 40, or at least pushing 40. His comment was like, he goes, "Holy shit! When I become rich, this is what I'm gonna get." And the cabinet was like $1,800, and I was like, "When you become rich?" And so like I screenshot it and I sent it to Laura and I go, I am out of touch with the common man.
Like, it's me, the rich.
And I was like $1,800. That's not even like a couch. That's like, I mean, guys, this is in U.S. currency. So if you're not, or like if you're not in like an English speaking country, $1,800 is, it can be a lot of money in certain situations, but it's not like rich levels of money.
When we started, that was rich money to me.
Yeah, I guess. But when we started though, like you still had your full-time job. And like $1,800, that's like 2-bedroom rent. Like, I don't know. For me, that's like a tax return. Like when I become rich, just wait till April and get your returns. Like,
yeah, I can see both. Because I think it depends.
But
I think there's two crowds there, right? You have I'm not there yet. I'm not making that much money. And in which case, yeah, the agency can help you get there. Then you have the golden handcuffs crowd. They're older, they're doing very well, and they're afraid. They're afraid of jumping and making less money, or afraid of transitioning and making less money. And you got to have some hard talks with yourself or long shower thoughts to determine what your priorities really are.
I want to say too, like I'm not just like hating on thinking that $1,800 or $2,000 is a lot of money. It is. It's not. But like even when I was making minimum wage, it's $7.25, not even full time, like 20 hours a week, I still didn't consider that like rich money. Like that was just like, oh yeah, it's just out of my reach. Like, which is fine. But like, that's when I messaged Lauren. I'm like, am I out of touch?
Yeah, I think the perspective of what is rich is, I think it honestly influences too, the people who might think that they need funds to start certain businesses or whatnot too. Because I think it's more likely that people, I could be completely wrong. I think it's probably more likely that people from better backgrounds think that they need money to start this, because you're probably surrounded by an environment that, I'm not saying it's bad. It is definitely advantageous. You can grow more quickly if you're cash infused, or if you have things to start from, instead of going from zero, because it's going to take longer. When you have investors or something like that, you're able to accelerate your growth. And maybe that's what some people are used to, or that's what they're surrounded by. And then in which case, don't go find the other people. I run into this a lot, where because of what we do, people think that I'm in that crowd too. The startup, the, venture capital, grind it out in a weekend kind of thing. I'm not. When I don't agree. Like it's not a lifestyle I want. You can do it temporarily, right? But the goal isn't to live like that forever in a work environment. But also, I don't want to be on the receiving end of the cash, because then I'm obligated to somebody to do something, right? Whoever gave me the money, I have to do something back to them. So that's another reason not to do it with cash, is because you hold on to your freedom. Even if you start from zero and it takes longer, you don't need it, and you will retain control. And you might not fully appreciate it now, but when you're bigger, you will, because it's not fun when you're doing really well and then you see the money keep going away from you.
I very rarely see somebody want to start an agency who's not like already in love with marketing, who like wants to start an agency as kind of a means to earn more money. I very rarely see those people I very rarely see those people be patient. I think everybody just wants a lot of cash flow right now, or like within a year or two, because that's what they see online of like people like generating and quote 7 figures within like 18 months or something like that, which is all bullshit, 100% lies. And we should, I want to have a whole episode on like how to spot the fake gurus, because every single one of them is very easy to spot. It's just like some of the lies are getting kind of like intricate and almost like very believable. And there are simple things too. Like I grew my agency from, 6 figures to 3.8 million in 18 months. All right. Then where's your listing on the Inc. 5000 list? Like, like you more than qualify. You'd be like number 1. Like, where are you? Or like, I did this with Google Ads. Okay, cool. Show me your partner's badge. If you're that expensive, or you have that many, like, where's your partner's badge? Like, and like things like the Google Ads partner's badge and things like, the like Facebook partner's badge, like those don't just like, those just come to you. Like if you reach that level, like you're going to get it. And if you don't have that to show, then you're obviously fake. So, I got off on a tangent there, because this whole episode has just been like a big rant for me of what I've been seeing in these groups. And I'm like, I need to bitch about it.
I'm not usually active, but I got, not attacked. People didn't agree with me, specifically about SEO tools. And I think we talked about this one before, but a lot of people believe that they need SEO tools, especially.
We just talked about this in a couple episodes ago, actually.
Yeah.
Because I was like, yeah, everybody with keyword research, everybody like goes to Ahrefs or SEMrush, and you're like, what?
Yeah, you don't need to. Okay, here's one. I made a comment saying that, look, you don't, if you're spending like $100 a month in the keyword planner on Google, you'll get accurate numbers instead of the broad ranges. And that's all you need. And someone said like, well, actually the keyword planner is for determining competitiveness in Google Ads and estimating search volume, blah, blah, blah. And I just responded. I said, are you trolling or serious?
Did they ever respond to that?
Yeah, he said he was serious, and I just gave up. I'm like, well, look, dude, if you don't actually...
I can't let that go.
Okay.
I got to ruin that man's life.
Look, let me tell people who are listening who might not know otherwise too. The keyword planner is awesome. I love it. It is great for SEO. It is very good. You will get estimates that are, frankly, more accurate and usable for SEO purposes than you will for Google Ads purposes. When I build Google Ads campaigns now, I will use the keyword planner if it's a completely new topic that I know nothing about. If it's something that I generally know, I'm not even going to estimate. I'm not even going to look at that sort of thing, because I'm just going to pick the keywords that I want and that I trust are going to go pretty well, and then operate from there. But I'm not going to use the keyword planner to go from there. It's way better for looking at search demand for SEO topics and ranking them than it is for actually using for ads purposes at all. And it's just because if you play around with it, you'll notice that it's like Facebook's too. If you tweak a setting and then everything changes, you're like, why would that change it that much? It's because they're just, they're making up their estimates that are going to help them the most. So that's I don't know. I think we've said this before. I started with SEO first, went over to ads later. So I learned how to use the keyword planner for SEO first, and then like my mentors who were teaching me Google ads and that sort of thing, they just didn't use it that much. So it was really strange at first because I'm like, why are the SEOs using the paid people thing, right?
The PPC tool.
Yeah. But yeah, so if anybody doesn't know, it's great for SEO and determining like topics and search volume estimates. But for ads,
even like location wise, like you can narrow the search volume down by location. Whereas like I've always told the girls this, that like Search Console is great because that'll show you what you're already ranking for, but it's not going to show you what you're not ranking for. But Keyword Planner will show you demand of what you want to see, and or like topics or whatever topic clusters that you want to see, and you can narrow it by region, whereas Search Console is just general. Like if you're ranking for like in our industry lawn care, that could be lawn care nationally, we don't know because there's no like geo modifier on the end of that, whereas like in Keyword Planner you can actually narrow down the actual geographic region if it's like a local business, and then see what the volumes are for that particular keyword in that region.
Google Trends is also great for that, right? I mean, if you want to see, well, I guess it's not, you're going at it with a different mindset. You're going at it with where is this happening instead of what is happening there. Because if you feed it something, it'll tell you generally where the searches are happening. But it's a different thing. But it is like for SEO, it can be helpful too, which is also free. So I don't know what these guys are talking about when they're saying you have to pay for these things and then that the keyword planner is not for SEO.
I bet he's probably in a very similar situation to you where he works at an agency and he's probably the PPC guy and he's like, this is where, this is where we do our competitive research, which is true. I mean, but whatever.
Yeah, it's weird. Okay. like that's all I feel like Forrest Gump right now when he's like, that's all I had to say about that. Like I got nothing. I don't know. I can expand, but I don't even know how. Like I don't know what to.
I've had to take breaks from these groups because like I know that I'm not susceptible to like the gurus and the setters and closers and the passive income and all of this stuff because I run a successful agency with my partner and I've been in the marketing world for 10 years. I don't need like these, I guess, silver bullets that people are trying to sell. But the community is so toxic where it's like, if you're not doing this, you're dumb. Like SEO is subjective. Well, let's get that out of the way. What works for somebody will not work for somebody else because of the industry, the market, the niche, whatever. And if you ever ask an SEO a question and their answer is anything other than it depends, they're not a real SEO. But that's like, I told Lauren about this. Like I've had to take breaks from these groups because it's like, it's mentally draining. And it actually makes me feel worse about myself engaging with some of these people because everything is sunshine and roses in the agency groups. It's like, oh, we've done this, we've done X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, you haven't. Like, I know you haven't, social, but like, right? It's still feeding my brain and it's just annoying. It's annoying to see. And that's why I fight back and get sloppy.
It's like a focused highlight reel. I mean, all social media is people showing their best, but when it's talking about agencies specifically, they're going to be, I mean, not only just giving their best, but often lying about. That's weird. I don't get that either. I don't know. I get maybe they're.
I try to put myself into the brain of like somebody who's like made this, this whole persona of. I scaled my company to this, I did X, Y, and Z, and they've got like a really elaborate backstory. And the entire time I'm like, no, you don't. No, you didn't. like it, I don't know. It's easier to pick out, I guess, when you do own your own agency and like successfully and, you're just not, I don't know, naive, I guess. But it's just, I don't know. It's annoying.
I also just I can't relate because I feel the inverse. Like the better we do, the less I care about any of that, and the less I even want to be involved, just because it's not time well spent. Whereas we could do it in other parts of the business that are going to be more beneficial. I just don't. I mean, it's partly getting older. You just care less what people think of you, and you're doing whatever it is that makes you happy. But I think as business improves, I am less interested in the trends and the things that are happening and people are doing too, because especially when you test things yourself, you find out what people are saying and what's actually happening. They don't match up. They don't always. There's often, like odds with each other.
Stack Marketer just had that newsletter today where they said they're split testing the colors of like call to action buttons, and they're like, yeah, it doesn't matter what color the button is. But like everybody out there, like every UX designer or UX guru out there is going to be like, yo, the color of the button definitely matters. And like, it doesn't. It really doesn't. And I mean, you can split test it because maybe it does with your audience, but these are some of the things that just kind of get perpetuated. Someone says one thing, someone of notoriety says one thing, and then suddenly all of the I'm trying to think of all the little minions or followers start to copy it.
Minions. Hopefully we can make minions just more of a trend in general. I really like it.
I referred to the girls as minions to Jose, our client today.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess I said, hey, just heads up, your site's Cody's doing the once over to double check the minions' work on the ads and the site. Then it'll be ready to launch.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's fun. But I always find myself explaining it to people because I'm like, no, they like it. They like being called the minions, But they're like, do they though? Because if they're minions, they probably can't say how they actually feel. I'm like, no, we've talked about it. So yeah. Anyway.
They better like it.
Anything else on needing money to do it?
No, I did want to apologize to the audience because I feel like this was just a 40-minute bitch fest, and I feel like we slung from we shot from the hip today, and it kind of turned out into just telling you what we're annoyed about. But what'd be really helpful is if you as the audience let us know what you were annoyed about, or if you see anything that you want us to talk about. Related to some of these gurus and some of what you see in the agency groups, that'd be great too.
Yeah, let's explain. I want to explain a little bit to them about some things that I don't even know if this is the best time to do it, but we've like developed some stuff. And by we, I mean you entirely. And I've been blissfully unaware because I've just been working on like.
I'm sitting here going, what did I develop?
Well, I've been deep in client work with the massive onslaught of new clients that we've been getting. And Jake is, primarily, he's like project management / acquisition. So at this point in time, he's got a little bit more time than me. So he's been doing like a lot of the podcast work stuff. So there are things, I've said this before, for me, I just show up for the most part, which is very cool and very fun. We have fun. I have a lot of fun again, because Jake like manages this and he's done a lot of really cool things that I think we should point out. So the website is live and people can contact us with general inquiries, right? If they want to just message us. Yep. Every episode gets a post and they can comment on the individual posts too.
Yeah. You don't need to sign up. Yep. You just first name, comment.
Yeah. So if you want to just make comments on an episode, but don't have a ton else to say too, do that. That's really cool. We got one the other day and it came in an email and I was like, Jake, what is this? I don't even know what's happening. He's like, I did this. I'm like, wow, that's cool. I didn't know.
Because you have never looked at the site.
No.
And then I was like, yeah, it's just a post. You're like, wait, so do all of our episodes get posts? I'm like, yes, they all get posts. But what's even my favorite feature about there is if you go to the episode section, you can actually filter the episodes based on the topic. So we have like acquisition, competition, financial, growth, hiring, networking, pricing, retention, sales, services, and special episodes for like the holidays. And and you don't have to like, because eventually there's going to be like hundreds of episodes. And so, but maybe there's a specific category you want to hear more about. Maybe you want to hear more about acquisition, how we get clients or things like that. You can just click on that and it's literally going to filter every episode by the what we talked about in that episode. And then you can subscribe to any channel you want to listen to on there, whether it's Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon. But yeah, we got someone who commented on an episode that just said, "Hey, this episode is great. Thanks." And it's like, great.
That was great.
Yeah.
Do that. Seriously. That makes me happy if you go and do that. So do it.
Yeah. And we'll respond to you.
Yeah. I just wanted to, like, it's really cool. I mean, we talk about it with transparency too, but I mean, we're so small and we're working on so many different things that, like, Jake and I's communication isn't completely perfect. There are things that we do that we find out later. I'm like, wow, awesome. I didn't even know that happened. This is a case of that. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it was funny because when I was setting the episode, or when I was setting the website up, and I was getting like Google Analytics and GA4 and Search Console, Tag Manager all set up, I was like, well, I don't know how to do this. I'm going to go through documentation because I haven't set up Google Analytics for like 5 years. And then I just followed, like, I had to go through like 5 different documentation processes, but I just followed through and I got everything set up. And I was like, wow, this is cool.
You're like, Cody has great documentation. This is great. Awesome. Like, I haven't had to look at this in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't. Last time I set up analytics was like universal analytics on like the original Evergrow site. I haven't touched it since.
Yeah, we got GA4. Another funny thing I would just say is, so we have an email list, but as far as I know, we're not doing anything with it yet. Like, we're building it, but we're not actively reaching out to people who signed up yet. Is that right, Jake, or do you have something that I don't even know is?
That's correct. Yeah, there's nothing. Okay. We're not. I mean, if you're subscribed to like the RSS feed or Spotify or Apple, like, you're going to get notified anyways.
Yeah, I imagine we'll eventually get to the point too where, like, we at least send out notifications. Hey, new post, come check it out if you need a reminder. But it's also just a reminder that, like, this isn't a money grab for us. We're not trying to milk this for cash. And in fact, it's been kind of surprising how much it has grown, with it just being a natural, natural thing, not artificial. I don't feel like there's no fakeness here. So yeah. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the community that we're building and people reaching out to me on Facebook and through the website. And it's really cool to see that people are kind of moving away from the whole guru mentality and then actually diving into what, owning a real agency is like, and actually taking our advice. And there's people who are reaching out to us that are actually bigger than us, who like don't have productized services or who haven't niched down but are struggling to grow. Yeah, I didn't tell you about that, but yeah, there's. I feel like I don't even know how to describe how I feel about that. I'm like, it feels like maybe when you're at a football game and you look around and everybody's like hyper masculine dudes and you just feel like a kid with a lollipop or something. Like, I feel like I'm not qualified.
American football, because there is no such thing as a hyper masculine soccer player.
I guess a better example would just be like, you show up for a job that you lied on your resume, right? And you're like, what? I don't know what I'm doing. But we know what we're doing. But it's definitely strange and weird when people are like, I want advice. I'm like, what do you want advice on? Like, you're at a point that's further than us in time. Like, we're doing everything on a trajectory to get there. But as far as, just the passing of time, you're further along. So
I think it's because of how we decided to grow, like, foundationally and focusing on processes and procedures and productization. We have a stronger base, like a stronger foundation than a lot of bigger companies have. And they're kind of seeing the things that they wish they would have done. And
being grounded is like a hard thing, but I don't know how to teach it other than like have strong convictions and make them work. I don't know how you teach that or say it, but because we're doing things how we want to do them, however other people want to do it. Do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I have to say about that.
Well, I think it's a good place to wrap it up. I already hit in 45 minutes. So, all right, cool. Everybody. Thank you for listening. We'll see you in the next episode, which, by the way, we'll actually, looks like we'll actually be having our first guest on. But it's not going to be one of those like normal like interview guests. It's just going to be like, we're going to have our own topic we want to talk about, but also have their input on it as well. So
I'm so stoked.
Yes, we're going to keep our same format. It's going to be this, the same like two guys, just nonchalantly talking about things, except there's going to be a third dude there.
So 3 dudes nonchalantly talking about things.
Yeah, I'm glad you continued that. All right, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
See ya.